What's up, friends? Welcome to episode 1 of the Wedding Video Boss podcast. I'm your host, Paul Santiago, and I hope you're having an awesome day so far. If not, and you're feeling lost, then I have a quote for you. I'm gonna try to start my episodes with quotes just to inspire you because I love getting inspired. Here it goes. If you can't describe what you are doing as a process, then you don't know what you're doing. That is from Edwards Deming. Don't you just love that? It brings so much perspective to what you're doing right now, and it I don't feel lost anymore. So today we are going to talk about the process. The process, the 3 steps of discovering your wedding video style, which I think is the most important one. To find out if you really want to do this or not. Because, there's a point in our lives when we discover who we are by how we deal with failure. And in a process, you are going to go through failure. And to me, my process was coming to the US in 2008 at 28 years old, knew nothing about the industry, have a very thick accent. I had no idea what the culture was, except for what I see on TV. All I brought with me was my knowledge and passion for video. Let's go through the 3 steps in discovering your wedding video style in a segment I'd like to call it's a process. So I've always believed that you find yourself by how you deal with failure. What it doesn't say is that you can actually fail smart. And when it comes to a career, not everyone is experiencing the same stage of failure, right? So I came up with these 3 steps to help you become more effective in your wedding video career. Step number 1, find a good mentor. So when I came here, started out, I was so confident that I felt that I didn't need anyone else. Everyone was my enemy, everyone I'm going up against with. I knew coming in that it was going to be tough. It was going to be long, and it was going to be filled with ups and downs. But what I didn't know was finding a mentor would have saved me so much time and money. So I wish I could just have looked for a mentor and try to work with them. If I can't work with them, then I'll just pay them to teach me what they know. Because just like what I said, not everyone is going through the same stage of failure. So look for that mentor who already went past whatever you're trying to go through right now and save yourself some time. I wish I had a mentor that I can relate to. Someone who went through what I went through, someone who someone who looks like me but hopefully a little bit more better looking. If your preferred mentor is starting up, you could go through the whole process together, but you have to know the rules and then you eventually break them. And that's when you learn a style. That's when you pick up the style of your mentor and you learn the basics of how to do it. Step number 2 is working for someone else. I can't emphasize working for someone else enough. I am a huge advocate of this. And up to this day, I feel like this is going to be the most effective step. As for me, I used to edit for big networks before I got into weddings. So I worked at MTV and all of these car shows that I used to edit for. And I quickly discovered that it wasn't my cup of tea. The good thing is, I was able to meet people who taught me different aspects of filmmaking that I use to this day. I met one person, his name is Gerald, and he taught me about audio engineering and how important audio is. And this was in 2004 or something. So I also worked this one director who taught me how to edit fast because I go to their house at 7 in the morning and the show has to be aired at 5 o'clock in the afternoon that same day. And then there's this one director that I edit for, and all he does are music videos for up and coming singers. And he always tells me like, oh, this isn't good enough, or this shot, I think it could be better. I think this shot, maybe we could use a different angle. It doesn't like tickle me enough. He's the tickle director. So I learned from their experience, and you should do too. Like when you work with someone, you learn from their experiences, and also you meet new people along the way. But the most important part of working for someone else is you make your mistakes there. So you make your mistakes somewhere else, somewhere other than your own business. And that's the best because, yeah, you're going to learn about responsibility and accountability, but at the same time, it's not your company. So it's easier to just look at it from a different point of view and not get in trouble. Try not to get in trouble. So after doing all of these, then you find your style. Because with the mentor, you learn a style. With working for someone else, you kind of see the difference of your taste as opposed to your mentors or the people that you work with. And that's when you find your style. Step 3, now you're ready. So when I worked for other videography companies before, I developed speed, I developed camera style, I developed shooting style because I used to edit other people's footage because the wedding videography company that I used to work for, they're high volume. So I get to see all these shots and I get to pick which videographer I want to follow and it just clicked. I'm like, man, I want to shoot like this guy. And eventually I picked up his style. And up to this day, that's how I shoot. Just steady and clean. And this was back in the Canon XH-A1 era with a mini DV tape. That's how old I am. So as soon as I mastered my camera, I became advanced in editing and had basic knowledge of filmmaking. I knew I was ready to work for other people. And now that you have that ammunition, now it's time to buy your own equipment. So don't forget, you pay the mentor, you work for someone else, you get paid, and when you're ready, make sure you kind of have money set aside for equipment. For the third step, this is the most important part. Don't be afraid to fail. Because this is the part where you gather everything you've learned and then you start applying it for your own weddings. And man, I can't tell you how many times we've tried different styles and we're like, maybe we should scratch that. So don't be afraid to fail because that is when you are going to master your style. So you have to research and educate yourself and evolve to the times. Your style will be instrumental to your business because not only will this be your brand, it's going to attract the people who share the same passion as you. Doesn't matter if it's a videographer or a bride or a groom. It's just going to attract the right people to your style. So make sure you master it, you love your style, and you hone your craft every time. I saw this quote from DUSTIN GRINNELL. It says, "So if you're a master, are you one for life?" Unfortunately, the answer is no. Once you've reached mastery, you've got to be practicing to stay sharp. Without regular practice, the slip from master to journeyman is all too easy. Teachers would be wise to prevent slippage by providing refreshers. Fundamentally, it's important to remember that we all learn by doing. Isn't that beautiful? Just go out and do, but do something. So, to sum it all up, find a mentor, work for someone else, and finally go out there and do something. If you succeed, share it. If you fail, fail smart. And if you encounter a wall, smash it. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for listening and stay tuned for the next episode of The Wedding Video Boss. Till then, be nice, especially if you're good looking. Boss man out.